The guy's left eye is swollen, he just got robbed. But when the cops show up, they refuse to take him to the hospital. Even the firefighters are shocked. That's when everyone notices the ankle monitor on his foot. Turns out, he's out on parole.
But if you remove him before it disconnects, he's gonna go back to jail for violating parole.
But if they don't treat his eye now, he could go blind. No matter how much the firefighters try to convince them, the guy himself refuses to go. He knows what jail is like. There's no way he's risking going back. The firefighters tell him she can explain everything to a judge, but he knows the process takes time.
And how long will be sitting in a cell while some judge sorts that out?
With no other option, the firefighters decide to perform an emergency procedure right there. But they're not surgeons. This is way beyond what they're allowed to do. The captain does not allow her to do this surgery.
If we tried to move him now, he'd lose the eye anyway.
The words made the captain silent. He knows they have no choice. She grab a scalpel, do a quick sterilization. With one precise cut, the pressure in the guy's eye is released. His vision is saved. The call finally comes in. The court approves a temporary release. The ankle monitor is disabled. He can go to the hospital without hesitation. The firefighters get him on his feet and rush him out. The boy is rushed to the hospital because he's having trouble breathing when the nurse lifts up his shirt.
Holy cow, he has a third arm.
Turns out the boy had a twin brother in the embryos, but most of him was absorbed by the boy during development. In the end, what's left turned into the boy's left arm, but it's not functional. That little arm is actually the boy's real arm because there's an extra blood vessel feeding the arm. It's pressing on his chest, causing the boy's breathing problems. They need to cut it off quickly. Sean agrees to remove the useless big arm, but it's hard to imagine how the boy's life will be after that. Just when everyone is at a loss, the assistant makes a joke that sparks an idea in Sean's mind.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we could strip Tayo's big arm to restore his little arm to full capacity?
They can do a surgery to connect the nerves from the little arm to the big arm. However, when they tell the parents, they argue again because there's a 10% chance the boy could lose both arms during the surgery. Sean thinks the boy should decide for himself.
I don't want to say goodbye to my little brother, but I know he'll understand.
He chooses to go ahead with the surgery Sean suggested. The surgery goes smoothly, but the real results can only be seen once the boy wakes up. The parents thank Sean for giving their son a chance at a normal life. And soon, the boy's left arm, which has had no sensation for 8 years, grabs his mom's hand. A couple is trapped in a wildfire. The husband suffers severe burns on his upper body, but the paramedics ignore him and rush to the back seat, where his wife sits completely unharmed, all because she shouts. The paramedics take one quick look. She's not exaggerating. She's fully dilated. The baby is coming any second, and the fire is closing in fast. They have no time. The baby has to be delivered before the flames consume this place. One paramedic rushes to assist the birth, while another takes precautions.
I'll do a burnout. Around us. Grab the fire, I'm getting the fuel it needs to keep going.
A desperate attempt to slow the wildfire's advance. The woman pushes with everything she has, the fear of the flames dulling the pain. Her only thought, get the baby out, faster. Now, just 2 minutes later, the newborn arrives. Hearing the baby cry in the back seat, the paramedic adjusts the rearview mirror so the father can see his wife and child. In the heart of the wildfire, a tiny car shields a tiny family, as a tiny life takes its first breath in a world so vast. Man wanted to confess his love to his crush, so he jumped into wet cement alone, but the cement hardened, trapping him inside. His crush got scared and ran away. Heartbroken, the man started to cry, but the doctor told him, "Don't cry. You've been stuck for too long. Your body is already low on water. If you cry more, you'll get dehydrated." Hearing this, the man stopped crying right away. The doctors began breaking the cement, pouring lubricant inside to prevent scratches. One by one, his arms and legs were freed. But suddenly, the doctor remembered something important. She shouted, "Stop!" and ran to his lower body because he hadn't peed for so long. And with all the fluids they were giving him, his bladder was at risk of bursting. Luckily, the doctor acted just in time, saving both his bladder and his life. The guy is casually stirring a bowl of yogurt. Then, something crazy happens. A freaking excavator comes straight at him. This woman tears down entire hotels. She's 7 months pregnant, but her husband brought another woman here for a fling. The hotel receptionist refused to tell her his room number. So, in her rage, she did that, and now, she's trapped in the rubble. Firefighters clear the debris around the excavator and finally find her, but she refuses to leave.
Everything's already crushed. What's the difference? I've lost everything.
The firefighters try to talk her down, reminding her that she still has her baby. She finally agrees to leave, as she's being carried away on a stretcher to the hospital. Her husband and his mistress finally show up. Everyone glares at him with disgust, and yet, the man just stands there, unfazed. Never seen someone so shameless. A woman jolts awake as the whole house shakes. She looks out the window, then immediately dials 911.
My house isn't being robbed, it's being stolen!
Her ex-husband is towing her entire house down the highway, with her still inside. When the police try to pull him over, he refuses to stop, so the firefighters call in a helicopter. They plan to lower someone onto the house, but the man sees this and starts swerving wildly. The captain calls him, temporarily distracts him. A firefighter makes a dramatic leap through the skylight, only for the woman to glare at him and say,
Who's going to pay for that?
she refuses to leave, because the house is legally hers. The court ruled in her favor after the divorce. She's not giving it up, but when a wooden beam crashes down from the ceiling, she finally realizes the house is beyond saving. She agrees to evacuate. Meanwhile, the vehicle is about to go down the highway. The SWAT team is waiting on the other side, with the men rushing ahead at full speed. The house slams into the bridge and crumples into a pile of rubble. The woman's leg suddenly shattered into pieces. What's going on? Luckily, it was just a dream. It turns out the woman had an amputation not long ago. Even though she had surgery, her brain still thought she had both legs. So not only did she dream about having two legs, but she could also feel pain where her leg used to be. Even as a doctor, there was nothing she could do about it. She tried using VR to heal herself, but it didn't work. She had no choice but to tough it out and go through another surgery. Today, it was her turn for an important procedure. She couldn't move even a little during the surgery, but right then, her phantom limb pain kicked in. She could barely stand. To fight back against her own brain, she ordered her assistant to stab her foot with a scalpel. This time, her brain finally realized she had no leg anymore. The pain disappeared. The surgery went smoothly. What's the worst nightmare you've ever had? The man is wearing shorts, his legs covered in tubes. He stands up to give his seat to a pregnant woman, but one of the tubes gets yanked.
Oh no.
By the time the firefighters arrive, there's blood all over the bus. They have discovered a new problem. They can't even move properly.
Bro, blood's one of the most slippery natural substances on Earth. Even more than motor oil. Whoa!
Another firefighter goes down. One of them holds onto the handrails, leading the others carefully toward the man. His dialysis catheter is torn, and so is his femoral artery. They press down on his leg to stop the bleeding. As the firemen lift him onto a stretcher, they fell again. The captain suggests they paddle the man across like an ice skater. The firemen tie the man to the stretcher. Then, finally, he's off the bus.
Thank you for watching till the end. Creating videos isn't easy. If you enjoyed this one, feel free to give us a super thanks. We'll work hard to bring you more interesting videos.